In this week's Stolen Time, my C-section experience and also some tips. First of all, why? My first pregnancy, the C-section was very planned because I had huge fibroids, huge, like 3 or 4. And I think that even if the baby had turned, it may have been difficult for the baby to come out because I think there was less room down there. It was advised that I may as well plan for a C-section, and I wasn't connected to the idea of like and I'm still not, like the miracle of life and like the experience of a baby coming out. I think it's amazing to be connected to that. And sometimes I actually wonder if there's something a little wrong with me because I'm not at all. Even though I watched this documentary, really old actually, by Ricky Lake, which is super random, but it's called The Business of Being Born. I'll put a link below in the description. And it was really great. It's dated, but really good, about how in the US so many, like all the complications that happen with deliveries, how it's a business versus in other countries it's so much more supported as like a midwife, home births, and in fact the rate of C-sections is like higher, emergency C-sections are higher I think in the US than any other country, something like that. Anyways, so I watched the film and I was like, oh yeah, natural birth sounds so much better. But when it came down to it, I don't think I was that disappointed, when that I had to have a C-section. So what happens is all sorts of blood tests happen before the date. The day of, you can pick sort of the day. They don't want you to get so close that you might go into labor, and they don't want it to be so early. So there's like kind of a window, maybe of a week or something. So I picked a day, and then it depends on the doctor's schedule, when exactly it's going to be during that day. And I remember me and the father of the baby, we took the train there, and I was so like, da-da-da-da-da, I'm going to have a baby. I was like super relaxed. And I was aware, even in all my blindness about the realities of having a baby, I think I was aware that it would be a while before I could be on the train again. And it was, indeed. And then we walked in, and then I started getting a little nervous. But then they made us wait. I think the doctor's schedule was backed up. They made us wait for like an hour or something. So after an hour, I wasn't nervous. I was like, okay, can we get this going? Which was really great because my nerves went away. And then the anesthesiologist comes to talk to you. And what I did not know, which was super interesting, and I don't know if this is with every C-section, but I suspect that it's kind of a standard process. The anesthesiologist plays like the major role in this whole thing. Yeah, guys, that's who you want on your side, who you want to be chummy with, and etc. So this guy came and he's like, I'm the anesthesiologist. I was like, great. And he's like, what music do you want playing? And I was like, what music do you want playing? And he was like, jazz. And I'm like, great, enjoy, as long as you do a great job. And oh my God, I'm kind of getting nervous just thinking about it, but it wasn't actually so scary. And then they put medication, I guess, through. Basically, you get like an epidural. You get an epidural, and they can keep pumping in medication until you don't feel anything. And for me, for whatever reason, it took actually quite a bit of medication. They were like, can you still feel? I was like, yep, I can still feel you. So lots of medication later, I couldn't feel anything. And then they put a big screen in front of you, like sheet. So you can't see what's going on there, which is a fucking operation where like, I think your insides are, outside for a while. I think they peel back I don't know exactly, but there's definitely some kind of lots of view of inside, I think, happening. A fair amount of view of inside. Probably a lot of blood. So there's a screen. And who's on this side of the screen? It's the anesthesiologist. You can't even see the doctor, guys. You can't see the doctor. There was jazz music playing, which, he had selected, thank God. It was typical, like those, you hear about the doctors having like casual conversations. You hear about that, and that's true. They're all having like casual conversation, cracking jokes. Like, it's super weird. Like the medication can make you nauseated. And so that anesthesiologist, you can give you something to counter the nausea so you don't vomit. And he's constantly asking you how it's going. And he, at least in this case, is the one informing me what's going on back there, or in front, where the baby's coming out. So that was super surprising, you know. So then I was like, I'm nauseated. I was like terrified that I was going to vomit. And he like just injected something, and 2 seconds later I felt nothing, and I was like, thank God. And then the baby comes out, and at least this baby, maybe I think all baby, like he was quiet at first, and I was like, he's not, why is he not making a sound, you know? And you're totally awake, and you're like, and then 2 seconds later it's like, what? And that baby was like such a loud fucking yell, like it was amazing. I have a photo of it, which I'm not going to share. It's like a National Geographic photo I think the dad took. It's amazing. It's like the baby, it's just so angry or so outraged, or I don't know what. That obviously that's my projection, but the baby's like in the photo. It's phenomenal. And then they like give you the baby actually right away while they stitch you up. I think you already have the baby after they clean him up or whatever. And then with C-sections, you have to stay in the hospital for a while. I think the first day, or maybe the first few hours, you don't feel the pain because the epidural medication is still there. After that, you do have an IV where you're basically pumping whenever you, and there's like a certain limit to how much you can pump, but you're pumping anti-pain medicine, something strong, morphine, I don't know, something strong, whenever you need to, within what they allow. And it hurts like a fucking bitch. It hurt a lot. It hurt a lot. Getting out of bed is hard. Walking is hard. Like, you know, the whole thing is hard. Contrary to what you might think, they don't want you lying down. They want you to stand up and walk around because they want your system to get going, because the whole thing is like they won't let you leave until you poop. Something I did not do last time, which I'm going to do this time, is I'm going to bring my laxatives with me, because not the strong ones, just like something to help, because my system is, you know, slow anyways, as I've shared before in my last video, and my last. And it takes about 2 days, you know, because they've opened up your insides. I think they want to make sure that your insides are, the whole system is working well again. You know, not to mention all the tests that happen with the baby anyways. But I think, you know, when you have a C-section, it's 2 days. And when you have vaginal delivery, I think you can go home the same day or 1 day later. And I do remember when I took my first shower, which is I think 2 days in the hospital, or 1.5 days, whatever. And I went to the bathroom. And I was naked, you know, for the first time. And it was like, you know, it was a full body mirror. And you look at yourself and you have like, I mean, your body's literally cut in two. You have a fucking like war wound here. And it's stitched, you know, it's bloody. Like it was shocking. And you've just started breastfeeding if you're breastfeeding, so like you're already sore. It's a fucking shock. I was shocked to see my body in such a state. And then, you know, you kind of get used to it, because then it's like weeks, because the little bandages, they like fall off on their own. So, you know, by then, you know, at the end you're fine. But I think I was probably in pain for definitely a week of like excruciating pain, where I had to take like, you know, strong medication. And then I think like a week of like very bad but bearable pain. And then I think after 2 weeks, maybe 3, you know, like it's fine. Like it's fine. It's not like 100%, but like you're fine. You're fine. You don't need medication. You're okay. So even now I'm talking like, why the fuck am I doing this again? So I don't have to have a C-section this time. And why? 1, so that I can really have someone look after the toddler, like just like taken care of. This is the time. Thank you so much. My mom is gonna look after him, and the dad. The vanity reason is that I'm not crazy about my scar. It's not terrible, but it's not great. I mentioned that in my another video. I guess I'm not into the idea of my vagina being ripped open. I know women have done it for millions of years and billions of women have done it. And I know everything's fine and all sorts of things and everything's fine. I guess I'm scared. So that's that. So, tips. Bring a very long cord for your cell phone because somehow the power outlets in I think many hospitals are like here, not there. Like, bring an extra long cord for your cell phone for sure. For some reason, the number of pillows that I got automatically weren't great, so I got more pillows. They were fantastic. If you can, people say that get a private room. I didn't like splurge for it or whatever, and I'm not going to this time either. But I think private room is a good idea, honestly, and it's probably worth the money. I'm just whatever. I'm cheap or practical. I don't know. I'm fine. But I had like some kind of like very sad baby situation. I had something not great on one side, and it was not easy. You've gone through like some kind of very big experience, and you have someone else there too with their own thing going on. It would actually be better if there was no curtain. If you were like actually in a room with someone else and you're like, okay, maybe at least you can bond over this experience. But the privacy, not privacy of that curtain is really irritating. Bring like flip-flops if you're grossed out about walking to the bathroom, which I am. So you want something easy you can put on your feet, or slippers. Something you can easily step into when you go use the bathroom. Because, I'm personally completely grossed out by it. And then in terms of recovery, here's one thing that I wish I had done different. You can apply those like silicone patches. I did it too late. So as soon as your bandages, I think, are gone, start using those silicone things, which help with the scar healing. Then I used a special girdle that helps keep things a little bit like contained. I actually think it's to help your tummy go back, but with the scar, it actually helped to like help it like not heal, but it eased the pain. It like supported my muscles in movement. I highly recommend it. And then this other thing that I did, which is I never really did it the way it's supposed to be used, but you may know that you have this hormone in your body, or people when you're pregnant, which is called relaxin, and it kind of makes all your things spread so that a baby can come out. That hormone continues to be in your body, I believe, for 8 weeks after the birth, and that's the opportunity where if your hips got like wider during your pregnancy, you can shrink them back during that time with a special little band. So I got that band. Honestly, I never used it very much. But I'm going to use it this time, and I'll report back. Now, my rant, rave, oil tip for this week is bio oil. It's a delicious belly oil that I used in the last pregnancy and this pregnancy, and it smells fantastic. It's a decent price. It's all natural, healthy, blah, from South Africa, and it's a phenomenal belly oil. I've enjoyed it tremendously. I highly recommend it to protect the skin as it grows and then shrinks. So that is that. Thank you for letting me steal your time. Subscribe to the channel if this was interesting or relatable, and hit the bell icon also to get notified when I release new episodes. And until next week, bye.